Alright, let's get started. You want to start off with active starter that I fed the night before. This is 8 hours after. Here I will be using a digital scale and measuring out 100 grams of active starter, then adding 25 grams of maple syrup, then adding 240 grams of room temperature water, and now we mix it all together until it has a milky look. Now you add 200 grams of pumpkin puree. This was a brand I used and I didn't actually use the full can. From here you want to mix it in again until it is completely orange and smooth with a couple bubbles. Now we top it off with my preferred bread flour. This will take 500 grams total, then 12 grams of your preferred salt. Here I just kind of spilled it, that was an accident. And now the measuring is done. From here you just want to mix it together until it forms a shaggy ball, and from there you will eventually use your hands. This will be sticky and that is normal. You just want to be sure to get all the sides and then cover. Once we cover, we will leave it alone for about an hour. Once the hour is up, you do want to get a cup of water to wet your hands and begin the stretch and folds. Here you just grab it from the side, pull it slightly up, and put it back down in the middle. You want to make at least one full circle, if not two, and this will be the first round. You leave it alone for 30 minutes and then repeat the process. This is the second set of my stretch and folds. You just don't want to rip it. Again, leave it alone for 30 minutes, and you'll notice that it will start to form bubbles. That is normal. Cover again, and uncover. It is starting to grow. On my fourth set, I just grab it from the middle, let the weight of the sides fall down as I plop it back into the bowl. I repeat the process until I make a round shape. That is when I start to tuck it in and make a full circle. Those 4 sets should take about 2 hours. Then you leave it alone for another 4 to 5 hours, if not overnight, to bulk ferment. This is after 6 hours of leaving my dough alone. I do take it out of the bowl on my countertop that's already been floured, and we start shaping. Here I just want to stretch it out to make a somewhat rectangular shape. I just don't want to press too harshly down on those air bubbles that have formed during the bulk fermentation. Here I will be adding my cinnamon and brown sugar mixture. Both are Kroger brand. You can use whichever brand you wish. I mixed them together in a separate cup and then used a spoon to spread around in the middle of my dough. It was just a lot nicer and cleaner. What you want to avoid is getting it on the edges, since it will get messy. You want to fold it from side to side, but before you fold it completely, always add that cinnamon sugar mixture. And now we are grabbing it from the corners and rolling it away from us. As you do so, you do want to add more cinnamon sugar and just firmly press down, but not too hard. This is one of the simpler rolls. You can leave it at this and put it away in your container, but I like to give it another roll. Now this is where I struggled to close it because the sugar was making it sticky, but I did want to stretch it out a little bit further and then do a secondary roll away from me. You want to do all of this without ripping any part of the dough. Unfortunately, this is where you'll see a part of the dough start to rip right there. Do your best at keeping it intact. At the end of the day, you just want to be sure that the seams are facing up once you do put it in your already floured container, which I am using a horizontal one. There you go. And you see all of the seams are facing up. Try your best to close them. It will be harder because sugar is involved. I'm flouring one last time before I fully cover it with my kitchen towel. And from here, I will be putting it directly in my fridge and letting it cold proof overnight. Now comes baking. You do want to preheat your oven for 450 degrees with the Dutch oven inside for at least an hour. And as that's preheating, I'm getting my bread ready, putting it over some cornmeal so the bottom does not get scorched or burned, and making some scores. Here I am trying to make a new design. I make my major slice and then cut into it a couple more times just so I could be sure that does a good oven spring. After that Dutch oven has been in the oven for an hour, you want to move your bread directly into that Dutch oven. Make sure to use your oven mitts. Cover it. Here it is after 30 minutes of being in the oven at 450 degrees. Take the lid off, put it back in for 425 degrees at 10 to 15 minutes. Here is the final look. Now do as I say and not as I do. Unfortunately, I was impatient and I cut into it about an hour after it being out of the oven. You want to wait 2 hours so it does not look gummy like mine did. I hope this recipe works out for you. Again, this is from another creator, and I think I'll make it again, but with a few adjustments.